Mark, a couple of days on now from the Barnet game, you had a chance to watch it back. What did you make of the overall performance?
First half passive, second half very good, playing a good team. But again, the problem with us not being able to pick the same back four for consecutive games is a difficult one. We're having to fudge that and put in different relationships, which makes it difficult. So until we get that sorted, it'll be a bit of a struggle. But we showed a real intensity in the second half, and when you look back at it, we should have got something out of the game.
I was going to say overall, actually, defensively, considering, as you just touched on, Ed James comes in for his first game, only a couple of training sessions. Defensively, actually, as the game went on, it got more and more sound.
Yeah, we could have conceded 5 in the first half, but we didn't win enough first contacts, didn't get enough second balls, and if that's the case, then you end up losing control of the game. Second half, we addressed that. We just tweaked the shape a little bit, and we were a lot better.
I know Finn comes back in for this weekend, is available again. After the weekend result, you'd said that you wouldn't mind bringing in 2 defenders. Ed's obviously come in. Are you still looking at another defender to bring in?
If there was, like I always say, if there's one out that can really improve us, then we would.
Woking this weekend, looking back on some of their games, the highlights, the stats, they are aside the league table, might say they're towards the bottom end, but they appear to be very tough to beat. They don't lose games by big margins.
Tough game, like every other game. There's no give-me's there. The manager was a real tough competitor. Suggest he's the same as a coach, manager. So we're expecting a tough game. So, like I say, I've never been involved in a give-me or an easy game in my managerial career. So I expect another tough one.
Do you think this is probably going to be one where it's tactically you thinking of ways to get round their quite low block and solid back line?
No, we just want a competent, combative performance. If we get that where we're aggressive at the back and we win our headers and we pick up the second balls, we get chances to play our football.
Obviously we've still got a couple of suspensions to come back, but Matt Worthington, is he getting any closer to making that first game back?
Yeah, we're hopeful that Matt could be involved in the squad tomorrow, so that'd be a big plus for us.
And other than the suspensions, does that leave you with more or less a full team?
Yeah, we have to take into account we played on Wednesday night, not Tuesday, so we've got 1 or 2 that might struggle to play Wednesday, Saturday, so we'll have a look this morning, see who's fresh and see who we put out there.
Is that more about rotation than potentially players missing out on the whole though?
Like I say, we've got some players that we have to look after in terms of if they play in that twice in that period of time, they're at injury risk, so we don't want to set them back 6 weeks or so.
I know you and I have spoken loads of times over the last 18 months or so about obviously form and such, but I wanted to ask you about your footballing philosophy and the way you speak to players. Does it change dramatically from, say, when you're on like a 7-game unbeaten run to 3 games in a row? Do you change the way you speak to them, or is it still a matter of fact in the way you deliver things, or does the attitude change behind the scenes at all, depending on what the form has been like?
Not really. You have the same messages. When you take, so we've lost 3 games. If you take the Halifax game, one moment of unprofessionalism costs us the goal, but after that we should murder Halifax in a really good performance. The York game's an anomaly. It's just one of them things. We commit harry-carry in the first 10 minutes, and we have 2 sent off, and then the other night is a really tight game against the top of the league, so that we should get something out of. So if we start talking about we've lost a game and let's rip everything up and do something different, the players will look at me and say, where's the consistency? The issue we've got is the suspensions, because so we've had the other night 3 of our frontline defenders, you would say, suspended. So it's going to impact, and it's going to impact us for another couple of games, because you know, our left-sided defender that starts off so many of our attacks misses another 2 games, which is, when you look at the system and and the disciplinary system is just not fit for purpose.
I know we discussed previously the length of time that it takes to in the first part of the season to get that 5 yellow cards, and it was going on for too long. Are there discussions between yourselves and other managers about discipline and words being put to FA and officials about this type of situation? Is there anything you can do working forward?
I think everyone will tell you that they've raised concerns about the 5 booking rule in such a long period of time, with the games all being front loaded, and you see the other night the amount of times this season where we've had players booked and the opposition haven't is a lot. The other night we had 2 players booked I'm still trying to work out what for, and it's like any normal contact now for us seems to be a booking. I can see the players now a little bit hesitant to go into any contacts. They think, well, I'm going to get booked again here. So that becomes a subconscious thing, and we have to be careful. But yeah, it's a real difficult one. Just for instance, Don Bernard got sent off at York, which we appealed. But the FA upheld the appeal. FA upheld the red card. So that appeal is heard by 3 ex-players. No referees, 3 ex-players. And on that panel were 2 ex-centre-halves from the 1980s that would have spent a majority of time kicking lumps out of centre-forward. But they chose to uphold the red card. Now, after every game, I have to fill in a referee's report, a detailed report on his performance, key incidents, and we then get feedback from the PGMOL, which is the referees board, who are in charge of all the referees. The feedback then comes back saying the referee made a mistake on Don Bernard. It should have been a yellow card. But the FA have upheld the appeal, saying no, it's a red card. So the whole system is just not fit for purpose. It
feels like quite disjointed, would you say?
Well, they're basically saying we're not listening to the referees. You've made the wrong decision, but we're still going to ban him.
Moving forward, though, is there anything in the works that you think could change, or is it at the moment it is what it is?
No, we can't change it. The referees have got a tough job, really tough job, but I just think they're struggling for quality of referee. I think it's disrespectful that it's really a full-time league, the National League, and we have officials that are part-time. I think it's disrespectful, and until that happens, I think you'll get performances like you do. I think it's something that Mike Jones and the PGMOL, Howard Webb, they need to look at, because it's not fair on the referees.
And I wanted a quick word on the National League itself. You've obviously, you know this division very well. You've obviously just come back up to it from the National League South. Standards-wise, do you feel that it is a league that is just constantly improving and evolving, and obviously getting quite a bit more money in it at certain levels as well? Yeah,
it's tough league. I think it's the hardest league to get promoted out of in the country, because of there being only one automatic. And as you saw the other night, there's some really good coaches coaching teams to play different ways now. A lot of teams have got big budgets, whether that's they've got a rich benefactor or they're owned by a consortium, whatever it is. So it's a real tough league, and you have to compete. You have to try and find a way. If you haven't got all the money, you have to try and find a different way to compete in it, and that's what makes it so interesting and exciting.
Well, good luck for tomorrow against Woking.
Thank you.